predict we're going to watch Takeover and be pretty much satisfied. Wow. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh, you know.
What an amazing time-lapse transition thing I just did. With
I think we were satisfied.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Takeover. A lot of interesting things announced before the show even started.
Yeah.
The initial attack of No Way Jose by Sanity during Access.
So he's out.
Taking him out of the 8-person tag.
Ty, Roddy, and Ruby would have to find a new person to replace him.
And on top of that, William Regal announced that NXT would be getting brand new championship belts.
Yeah.
So a lot of people
extra shiny ones.
A lot of people we don't like when new belts come in. It's not always a good thing.
Yeah, WWE main belts.
Yeah.
All looking the same ass belts.
Universal title bullshit.
Giant W-ass, having-ass bitches.
2 plus 2 not knowing what the fuck it is, bitch. We open with the 8-person tag match. Sanity coming out, looking strong, looking dominant. Knowing they have
video recap of the No Way Jose beatdown.
Knowing that they have the advantage essentially.
This time they'll have raccoon eyes.
Yeah, they all got the grease paint going on the face, looking a little extra raccoon menacing, I guess you could say.
Killian Dane, big ass trash panda.
He was essentially a trash panda. But then we get Ty coming out, we got Ruby coming out, we got Roderick Strong. So cool to see Ruby Riott get her first entrance.
Yes.
So cool to see her on the show.
Love you, Heidi.
Who would take the place of No Way Jose? Let's add an O in front of no.
Oh, no way! It's Cassius Oh No Way Jose, oh no?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, Cassius
Chris
Ono.
Hero.
Cassius Ono would take the place of No Way Jose. I mean, sure. I kind of felt bad for No Way Jose because I do like him, and it would have been cool to see him in the spot. But I mean, Cassius Ono is kind of a bigger name, just with the indie prevalence attached to it. So
and the indie prevalence attached to WrestleMania weekend because in Orlando there's like 40 independent wrestling shows going on this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that coming up next. But yeah, so this is just a bunch of chaos is what this match was. There was very little to none of any type of cohesion. It was barely a tag team match. It was just everybody's going to fight everyone except for the girls.
Eric Young kept getting knocked off the apron.
Eric Young, his face was a magnet for people's fists and elbows. It was the only thing that was going to happen. Lots of stuff happening on the outside. Alexander Wolf was extra erratic. He was like swinging at everybody, and like anytime he could punch someone, he was doing it, except for Eric Young. He was the only one not punching Eric Young. It was just like, this was just a nice, fun brawl.
It was high energy, which made it like really fun to watch.
It was a good way to start the show.
Even when the heel team was trying to get their heat by like picking one guy and like beating down into the multiple tags, it just didn't feel like it slowed down at all.
Yeah, Roddy was the whipping boy, but then Roddy got his comeback, which was good. I felt that Nikki and Ruby kind of got lost.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to WWE, they could only face each other. And the only other time other than what they did, which was like, they'd fight, they'd hit, they'd roll out of the ring. They did that like 3 or 4 times. Other than that, we had the bit towards the end where Nikki jumped on Ty's back and is trying to do that. And Ruby's like, oh yeah, I can do that too. And she jumps on Killian's back. Like, that's going to do a whole lot. It distracted Nikki.
Yeah, she got mad.
Nikki's like, bitch, get off of him. Pulled Ruby down. They go flying out of the ring again. Ruby hitting that drop kick off of the apron.
Yeah, what a bump.
That's a shitty way to fall. But that left Killian Dane and Ty Dillinger in the ring. Ty got Killian up for the tiebreaker. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Alexander Wolf came in, gave a big old kick to the face. Killian Dane hits that sit-out pile driver kind of thing he's doing.
Nigel gave it a name.
He said it twice, and I couldn't hear what it said. If you know what it was...
He's too quiet.
Yeah.
Turn Nigel's mic up, please.
Turn Nigel up. But yeah,
Hashtag
Killian...
turn Nigel up. Hashtag Nigel get turned up.
Get turned. So Killian Dane strikes the final blow on Ty Dillinger, and Sanity picks up the 8-man tag team win. That is 1 point that we did not get.
Yeah, because I kind of expected Sanity's reign of terror to be over finally.
Yeah, I think what we'll get. I think we'll get like a string of singles matches because I don't think Ruby and Nikki are done.
No.
There's definitely got to be one more showdown between Ty and EY. Probably a big Hoss match between Cassius and Killian. And I wouldn't mind seeing what Alexander Wolf can do by himself against Roderick Strong. It seemed like they were kind of in a feud amongst this whole chaos. So we'll see where that ends up going.
He's good at taking backbreakers.
Yeah, he is. So we followed that up with the debut of Aleister Black taking on Andrade Cien Almas.
El Ídolo.
I was so excited for this because Tommy End, especially with being in Bola recently and just like all of a sudden like being more prominent on the indies, for me at least, I was super excited to see him in WWE.
Having a stellar match with Neville during the UK tournament
absolutely. Night 2. That hyped it up even more. And then knowing that Andrade is a solid hand in the ring, like I could imagine he's going to
watch like his 2 higher profile matches against Oney Lorcan.
Yeah, or his debut match against Ty Dillinger, despite the fact that Ty Dillinger totally like overshadowed him because it's Ty Dillinger. So yeah, I mean he's had some great matches. So I was expecting Aleister Black to really have a dominant win over Andrade. Really cool entrance. The darkness that he's kind of into adds for a very new type of entrance in the NXT realm. But the match kind of lacked.
It did.
There was a much lacking in chemistry. It seemed like they got lost a few times as far as what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that Andrade got some more offense than most guys do going against debuting people.
Yeah.
But I think it was too much, and Aleister only had a few moments where it really seemed like he was really in control.
Yeah, which, I mean, it was kind of rough to watch, actually. Just knowing both guys' potential to, like, come out and have the show-stealing match.
Right.
And to kind of honestly put on the most lackluster match of the night.
It was definitely my least favorite match of the night, which is unfortunate because I was very excited for the debut of Aleister Black.
Like, I'm not huge on Almas, but I agree that he can go when he's pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you could just chalk it up to the nerves.
I mean, it is Mania week, so I'm not saying that like, oh man, I'm totally lost on Aleister Black, because he did have some good moments, just not enough of them I felt like for a debut. You know, nothing that makes me go, oh man, I can't wait till he does this again, except for maybe like the triangle moonsault. That's about it. But yeah, I'm not totally ditching him now. I mean he's on the roster now, so we'll see what he can do on NXT.
See if he keeps that cool coffin rise entrance.
Yeah, but he does end up
Nosferatu style.
He does end up picking up the win after he gets out of the hammerlock DDT and then hits a big roundhouse kick and knocks Andrade out.
Yeah, I did kind of enjoy the setup for that one because he kept doing like the short arm clothesline equivalent to a big boot.
Yeah.
And then he picked Andrade up with his foot.
Yeah, that was.
And he kind of tapped him on the face with his foot, wake up, and then did the spin kick, which they called the Black Mass.
Yes, the Black Mass. So Andrade still losing the match, but I felt like he was way more in control than Aleister Black. Though Aleister Black didn't lose his debut match, so that's a good thing.
Let's just hope Aleister does not fade to black.
Oh, puns and foreboding words. Follow that up with our triple threat elimination tag team title match.
Hell yes.
Best fucking match again. For
the
me,
tag
at least.
teams. The tag teams.
Man, these guys did amazing. The new tag belts look great. We were initially nervous, but these new belts, they all look pretty damn good.
Yeah. The whole round of them, the women's and the NXT and the tag belts, all are decent looking belts. They're very, very modern, very sleek.
Yeah.
Very chromy, very super. They're all super fucking shiny.
Yeah, they're almost like when you see like the brand new UFC titles get brought to champions, like they're that shiny. They're like it doesn't look like there's any wear and tear. It's not like solid gold. It's like, bam! It's like yeah.
And then I noticed as they were switching the belts out, because each of the champions would come out with their regular belts and then hand them off and get the new belts.
Yeah.
The NXT titles are still like new comparatively to other belts.
Yeah.
So like when the wrestlers are still handling the NXT titles, they're not floppy like a lot of the main roster belts get after they've been around for a while.
Oh yeah.
Like the NXT belts, they've only NXT titles only been around for 2 years. The women's
the NXT title's been around for
3.5.
Like 4, it's 4, close to 5 actually, because it wasn't long after NXT started that they did the tournament for the belt, where Seth Rollins won the first championship.
And then the tags came after that.
So yeah, I think it was like the end of 2012, early 2013, when Rollins won the title. Then the tag titles were not long after that, and then the first women's championship was around WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, right around when the networks.
Yeah, the first takeover. So the women's title's only been around for about 3 years. Tag 3.5 to 4, championship 4.5 to 5.
Yeah.
So they are all fairly new. But I mean, that was like, hey, this is a new thing. Here we go. Now that it's like its full brand, I felt like they needed like a fresh start, a new look. Which is, I mean, that's the great thing, is that they didn't go over the top. They're nice looking belts, and they don't look like all the other WWE titles.
Yeah.
With that being said, this tag team match was fucking insane.
Yeah.
The fact that that's the great thing about NXT, is their elimination matches. There's such a long stretch before that first elimination. They had set up so many moments where this is an elimination. No, it's not. This is an elimination. No, it's not. This is an elimination. No, it's not. This has got to be. No, it's not. And it's just, they keep ramping you up, and then when it happens, you're like, what shit? Like, it almost comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like fun to watch, because you had this from the outset of the match. You had this like agreement between the Revival and DIY to work together to take out the Authors of Pain.
They knew they couldn't do it as single tag teams. They needed to work together to get rid of these big dudes.
But then it would be interrupted by these little segments of the fact that like DIY and the Revival's rivalry is so heated that they couldn't continue to keep working together on a consistent basis, which really ended up kind of being their downfall, because anytime they would get an advantage and Authors of Pain would be kind of out, rather than eliminating them, they'd end up starting to like implode on themselves.
Yeah.
But it did lead to some like awesome moments. The Sunset Flip powerbomb.
Yeah,
Gargano and Ciampa powerbombing was Akam.
That was Rezar went through the table.
And then Dash and Dawson had to help out,
Yeah.
knocking him off the apron.
Yeah.
We had Johnny and Scott do Meet in the Middle. Well then,
Dash and Ciampa did the Shatter Machine.
The Shatter Machine.
Just the fact that they just like kind of interjected themselves, like the initial one, the meeting in the middle where Johnny's like ready for it, and Dawson's like, I don't know, should I? Sure. And he like does like the whole pose and everything.
Yeah.
He runs, hits the knee. It was so good. And then it was like that. They're finally doing it. And then there's like, DIY starts to walk away. Revival go for that shot from behind, and DIY immediately turn back and face off, and it's like, they can't get along long enough. But then it that's kind of what ended up being, like you said, that was their major downfall, because we had the superplex, Dash and Johnny to the outside on top of everyone else.
Opposites.
Wasn't it?
It was Scott and Tommaso did the superplex to the outside. is that they ended up getting rid of the authors, and Dash and Johnny dove onto Akam and Razor.
That's right.
Then when everybody was on the outside all piled up nice together, given a big old landing zone, Tommaso went up like he's going to do his own special dive off the top rope, and then unfortunately one half of my boys decided it'd be better to superplex him down, and that cost him because once they started getting back into the ring, a superplex off the top to the outside kind of left both of them sitting ducks.
Yeah, and the Authors of Pain, who they'd been taken out, but they
keep coming back.
They
so
keep,
strong.
yeah, they're monsters, and so they've already kind of had a little bit of a rest spot. They end up getting up, tossing Ciampa. Was it Ciampa that got tossed back in the ring?
Yeah,
yeah.
Because Dawson tossed Ciampa back in because he's gonna pin him after the superplex.
Right. Yeah.
But then the Authors of Pain grabs Dawson's hand and forces a tag and chuck him out of the ring.
And so Ciampa ends up getting hit with the last chapter, and DIY are the first eliminated.
Yeah.
Therefore, both of our picks are still in at this point. Revival, start doing what they can to really take it to the Authors, but again, they've lost their ability to get the advantage because those extra two guys aren't there anymore, and it's just a matter of time before the Authors really get their, get the ball rolling again, back into their favor. They end up hitting some gnarly power bombs early on. Mm-hmm. And then just eventually ramping it up, hitting the Super Collider, and actually winning with the Super Collider instead of the last chapter, which was good because then you had differential eliminations from both teams. But yeah, the Authors of Pain eliminating both teams and retaining the tag team titles.
To a rousing chant of "No one likes you."
Amazing heat that they got on these guys. This was the best thing for the Authors of Pain. They are officially the most hated tag team on the roster.
Yeah, I gotta say, my boys didn't win. But man, DIY and the Revival sure as hell got the Authors of Pain over as heels.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like the fact that it built, it just got louder and louder. Especially with that first elimination of DIY, it was just like, nope, you guys suck. This is awful. And then just destroying the Revival afterwards.
Well, I mean, the Revival had some moments too where they were gonna make comebacks. Man, they tried so hard.
They tried real hard. It just wasn't enough.
No, that was the other cool one. Is when they had Dawson had in the inverted figure four, and then Gargano put in the Gargano escape.
Yeah, and then the double submission breakup. Yeah, just some great moments all the way through. Tag teams killing it again. Congratulations to the Authors of Pain for retaining their championships.
Hey, main rosters, treat your tag team divisions like this.
Yeah. Now, hey, there's an open space on the pre-show. Maybe you should do Usos and American Alpha or something. Just remember at 31 when the Raw had 4 different tag teams in matches before I'm pretty sure most of them all came back and participated in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal except for Jey Uso because his shoulder was injured. Yeah, you could totally do that. You probably should.
American Alpha and the Usos can both be in that match and then do the Andre Battle Royal if you really need the 4 of them in that Battle Royal. Just saying. And
you really don't, because you just added an NXT guy. You have an entire roster of cruiserweights that you can throw in there.
They added an NXT guy?
Tien Bing.
Oh yeah, and Mark Henry. They added Mark Henry in.
Yeah. So you don't really need.
You don't need any of those guys. Mark Henry's as big as the 4 of them put together.
Yeah. There doesn't need to be 30 guys. That's not a rule.
I mean, it does say the 30-man over the top battle royal.
All right, fine. Then put some cruiserweights in there.
James Ellsworth.
There you go. You're done.
Cruiserweights.
Cruiserweights.
Put the different damn cruiserweights in it.
Moving on, we had the NXT Women's Championship on the line. 2 undefeated ladies looking to prove dominance. Asuka still not feeling like anyone really has any type of advantage over her, but Ember Moon coming in very confident. And
she had Asuka on the rocks for a lot of the match.
This was a straight up fight.
Yeah.
They did not.
Round 1, fight.
They did not hold back. It was really just balls to the wall the whole way through, and it's just
They wanted to keep up the pace from that tag team match. I bet you.
they did a fantastic job, and and they didn't have to do a bunch of high flying moves. It was just very hard hitting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really good fluid motion, a lot of really good kicks, multiple attempts at the Eclipse that were constantly stopped by Asuka.
Hey, she said it, no Eclipse.
Yeah, she said it wasn't going to happen.
She said it should.
Ember Moon actually escaping the constant attempt for the Asuka lock, staying on her feet for a lot of the time. This was a great moment for both of these ladies. The fact that most people thought Asuka's reign was over. It was almost like, okay, Asuka can still fight, and she's still got more that she can do to win. But then it also showed that Ember Moon is absolutely a top contender for the championship.
And we had the end with Asuka pulling out a dirty tactic for the first time.
Officially going heel.
Yeah, potentially realizing that this is the first time maybe she feels like her title is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So she had to stoop down to pushing the referee into the ropes.
Yeah, the second or third attempt from the...
It was the third one.
Yeah, it was the third one because the first one was earlier. The second one, Asuka stopped and they got shoved off. And so as Ember Moon is setting up for a third attempt at the Eclipse, referee gets sent into the ropes. She gets crotched on the top, falls to the ground, and eventually just gets hit with a gnarly buzzsaw kick from Asuka, and Asuka retains the Women's Championship. And the referee was so offended, and I love that the referee kind of sold it because he's like, I didn't you don't expect it from Asuka.
Yeah.
Asuka doesn't need to do stuff like that. So the fact that she did caught a lot of people off guard, and I think the fact that most people were really expecting Ember to take the championship just kind of hit another wave of heel points towards Asuka, and that's going to help this feud continue, and then eventually have Ember Moon take the championship off of Asuka. Asuka has now been the NXT Women's Champion for a year, so I'm pretty sure she's one of, if not the longest reigning champion in NXT history.
At this point, she's going to be getting close.
Because it was Neville.
Neville so far.
Neville is the longest reigning, and I think his is just over a year, or so, a year and some change. So yeah, Asuka is on her way to being the longest reigning champion in all of NXT. So congratulations to both ladies. Great showing. Following up with the NXT Championship, Shinsuke Nakamura looking to become a 3-time NXT champion, taking the title back from Bobby Roode. Bobby got the special entrance this time. A couple of beautiful ladies playing some pianos, and then it got glorious.
You got spinning Roomba.
You got spinning Bobby Roomba. And I loved the simplicity of this match. The fact that it was so very cut, dry. You had both guys working a limb on each other. Obviously, Shinsuke's knee was the focus. The left knee was the focus for Bobby, and then Shinsuke using the armbar to attack the left arm of Bobby Roode, which was smart because that is the arm that he hooks to do the glorious DDT. And there was a lot of really good, hard-hitting moments. There was shine for both guys. It was such a split crowd too. They didn't need to do anything super flashy, and they had some really good callbacks to when Shinsuke hurt his knee during their first match. So there was that worry for Shinsuke, but then Shinsuke using the armbar and actually kicking out of Bobby Roode's finisher again and different things like that. It seemed like it was a very very even battle. Both guys did exactly what they needed to do in this match. I don't feel like there was anything that they could have done more of.
Yeah.
For me personally, and it was it was fun to watch. Just like, two guys go out there, obviously knowing their role and playing it to a T, and with these different comebacks, these different big moves. Shinsuke trying to go for the Kinshasa and getting it turned into a spine buster.
That was a cool counter.
And then Shinsuke kicking out of the first glorious DDT, and Shinsuke going for a pseudo Kinshasa, but was more like a knee strike to the side of the head as opposed to straight on, and not quite getting the leg hooked, and Bobby Roode kicking out. It was just a lot of really good build for both of these guys.
Yeah, it drug a little bit for me, for my taste personally, just because they got to the point where, and I mean, I understand the value of it is both guys were exhausted at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like 3 different moves in a row where we just had like super long, both guys are down.
Yeah.
For a thing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand, but we get it. Pick it up a little bit just so you don't lose people.
Yeah. I feel like people stayed with him pretty even keel throughout the match. But yeah,
even being the key word with the crowd during this match, because man, they were split with the Shinsuke Rude chants.
Yeah, absolutely. There wasn't a stronger contingency on either side, but eventually Bobby Roode going for a very interesting, adding a little bit of disorientation to the glorious DDT, doing the tornado into it and then lifting with the DDT. Bobby Roode retaining the NXT Championship. Poor Shinsuke.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode might be his kryptonite. Maybe that's what it is. That's 2 times in a row now. Without nefarious means.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode has just beat Shinsuke straight up.
I think that's the kind of heel Bobby Roode is, though.
He doesn't need...
No, he doesn't cheat. And that's the reason, that's going to be one of the things he's going to go to, too, when people talk about why they dislike Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode's like, because people know I'm better than them. I don't have to cheat to beat them. I can beat anybody at any time.
It's good.
That's why everyone hates me.
Yeah, because they're not me. They're not glorious, and they can't win matches by themselves. But yeah, other than the lacking debut of Aleister Black, again, NXT killing it. Doing exactly what WrestleMania weekend needs to be. Strong matches for everyone except for the debut. Great new championships, and now we've got this next. We've got the landscape of NXT has changed a lot, and so now it'll be interesting to see where certain people go from here. What the next step is for certain champions. The fact that all the champions retained. So we're not getting any new champions post WrestleMania. So we'll see where the champions end up going. But that is it for our NXT Takeover review. Thanks for watching, guys.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Click the links down in the description. Send you all of our social medias.
There's a lot of those down there.
You can check out the podcast where we have all of our regular reviews, that being Indie News, which is coming out next, along with Rob Review, Tuesday Night Live, and the Midweek Wrap-Up. You can also check out Post WrestleMania. That's in just a couple of days. I'm thinking probably Tuesday will be the first day where new videos will be going up over on Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
And that's reasonable to W. Like WrestleMania. Again, because it's still WrestleMania weekend.
Right, got it. Kevin Hoxton we have in his own show.
The Hawktail Hour, which we talked about a long time ago. I stopped talking about it, but it's still around. It's
coming.
It's coming hard and fast. Get ready for it.
Right.
Get ready to see my face turn bright red, because
it happens a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing kind of a vloggy type show where just, whatever's on my mind as far as wrestling is concerned, be talking about it. You can add some discussion down in the comments. We have more of our fantasy warfare popping up over there, plus some extra stuff here and there. So get ready for that stuff. Stay over here because coming up next, not only do we have indie news, but afterwards we're going to have our WrestleMania 33 review.
And the top 5.
Yes.
For the month of March.
It is coming as well.
It is the Travis top 5.
It is indeed. So look forward to that. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.